I've been in a band in some way, shape, or form since I was 18, 19 years old. Doing a solo record is very liberating because I don't have to work within the confines of a 5-piece. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to answer to anybody, and nobody's looking over my shoulder. It doesn't mean anything against bands. I like being in a band, and I like that sort of gang mentality and also the creative elements all working together. But I think doing a solo record was fun because I could do whatever I wanted, and I didn't have to wait for approval from anybody. And I got to do a lot of different styles that in any particular band that I'm in or have been in, I might not necessarily be able to do. A lot of people have a misconception about how the record was made. What I would do is I would write some music and then think about who would sound good singing it. It was sort of like being a movie producer, trying to get the cast of characters together. Miles is a godsend because when I was at the tail end of making the record, I had 2 songs left over that were 2 of my favorite pieces of music, and throughout the making of the record I could not figure out who should sing them. And so Miles is somebody who I'd never met, and I'm not super familiar with how I know he's a good singer, but I'm not really familiar with his style so much. But I just sort of took a chance and thought, let's call that Miles Kennedy guy and see what happens. And I sent him one of the songs, and he came back with the lyrics and the vocal melody to Starlight, which was just sort of mind-blowing. And then I asked him to do the other song, which turned out to be Back from Cali. So we struck up a really good relationship from the get-go. We've actually moved leaps and bounds in the last month. So we should be making an announcement one way or another next month. So it's going to be interesting going to the 3rd record because we're going to have a whole different personality as a vocalist. And chances are it's going to be a lot heavier than anything Velvet Revolver's done so far, because that was the only thing missing for me, was the sort of heaviness of it in the first 2 Velvet Revolver records. I'm a huge horror movie fan from way back, especially horror movies from the 30s and also in the 60s and also in the 70s. Scout Pictures, which is a production company that was responsible for Session 9 and Trans-Siberian and a bunch of other really cool movies. I'm friends with one of the guys there, and he called me up and he goes, we should do something like Slasher Pictures, and you can look at the scripts and produce movies and with your own label, and we'll fund it. So far it's been a really positive thing. We're going to be putting out 2, maybe 3 movies a year, and they'll be really high quality, very character-driven and insanely scary horror movies, but not the kind of scary where it's like you're just waiting for somebody to come out and cut somebody's arm off or something, but like psychologically, scary and intense and so on. Something that harkens back a little bit more to some of the great movies that came out in the 70s and in the 60s and even way before that.